The question is, those who were born in an era where these devices were prevalent and they were in their hands from an age when they were old enough to hold them, those digital natives, the question is, are they the ones that are better equipped to deal in this current era of social and digital media? Well, let's discuss. Well, welcome to Legal Marketing Minutes, where I share short bursts of current marketing news and advice. I'm your host, Nancy Myrland. If we haven't met, I'm a marketing, business development, content, social, and digital media speaker, trainer, and advisor for lawyers and their legal marketers. Your time is valuable, so let's get started, okay? Well, I have this discussion, I'd say on a fairly regular basis, or I see it written about, or I hear about it on other podcasts or in videos. Let's just suffice to say it still exists, and it's a little bit of everywhere. And it is from those who are maybe a little bit afraid of using social and digital media for one reason or another. And there are a handful of those reasons that I hear on a regular basis. And it usually surfaces with some kind of comment like this. You know what? I wasn't born understanding how to use these tools. You know, I wasn't even born when email was alive. I wasn't even born when whatever was around. And so I had to learn this. It didn't come naturally. And those who've been using it for a long time, well, they understand. They didn't have to ask questions. They can just hop on a platform and do whatever it is they need to do. And these people who are called digital adopters, those who adapted these practices or who could adapt these practices a little bit later, are the ones who I hear this from. And what we need to do is to stop that line of thinking, because not only is that some sort of very odd ageism in assuming on either side that someone who is younger and who was born with these devices is so much better equipped to handle this era of social and digital media, or if a digital native says, oh, you know what, the digital adopters, they're old and they don't understand how to deal with it. I see this a lot in some groups that I'm in where they'll say, you know, I'm creating training, or I have a course that teaches people, and this is, I laugh at this every time I hear it, over 50. I've even heard people say over 45. They're over 50 and they're really tech averse and they don't understand these tools. And we have to stop. We have to stop. If we are expecting to ramp up our conversations and ramp up our relationships with people in this world, then we have to acknowledge a few things. We have to acknowledge that social media, digital media, they're not going away. Just like email, which was scary when it came out. Email came and it made things a little bit more efficient, actually a lot more efficient, and it didn't go away. In fact, it's probably stronger than most people realize as a form of a marketing tool. And so many tools are not going away. Social and digital media are not going away. We are all of a sudden not going to pluck tablets, telephones, PCs, laptops, and you name it out of people's hands and expect that they're going to go back to communicating the way that everybody used to communicate before those devices were so commonplace. And the second thing we have to stop assuming is that just because of one's age, they either are or aren't equipped to deal with social and digital media, because it's just not true. Let's tackle the first. Those who are digital natives and were born with these devices, or they got to play with them, they got mom's and dad's old iPhones or whatever phone they might have passed down because they got to play games on it, and they couldn't do anything else on it. They couldn't accidentally make calls to Russia or to China and, or purchase things and all of a sudden have a crazy bill that mom and dad don't know anything about. They were basically just phones that worked off of Bluetooth and they can play games on them. Great. And so the assumption that those people are the ones that are going to be so much better at communicating via social media is way off base. That does not mean, it doesn't mean it either way. That does not mean that they understand marketing. That doesn't mean that they are going to pick up these devices, whatever these tools are, and just naturally understand how to communicate with people and how to go through the stages, what I call the 7 stages of social media, which we can talk about another time. That doesn't mean that their communication skills are up to snuff when they're born born as well. Those grow. Conversely, just because someone is a digital adopter does not mean that they cannot handle learning how to use these devices. If you are a digital adopter, or if you know digital adopters, you need to understand you're pretty smart. And, people who are listening to this, I know you're a very, very smart group of people. And if you can go to law school, or you can do what you've done in your life, trust me, you can if you are interested. And I think that's the key right there. If you are interested, you can learn how to use these tools faster than you can even imagine. And so what I want, we should be long past. I mean, it's been 10, 15 years now that these tools have been around us, at least in numbers. They were running around before that, just being discovered and people developing them. So let's say it's 10 years. I think we're past the point where anyone should be assuming that someone young, a digital native, is going to be better or going to be worse at either using social media, using the technology, or being good or bad communicators. None of them should be assumed, and none of them should be taken for granted. Same with digital adopters. Just because you didn't have these tools in front of you until you were 25, 35, 45, 55, or 65, that does not mean that you are not equipped or could be equipped. And don't tell me that your brain doesn't work that way. I know your brains. I work with you all the time. I see how your brains work. Again, you're pretty smart people. So stop selling yourself short. Perhaps it just means that you haven't had the training that you need to have, or that you haven't just set aside a few minutes here and there to understand how it works, or to have somebody say to you, you know what, this is how you stay out of hot water. This is how you stay out of trouble. This is what you say. These are the things you can say. These are the things I wouldn't say. So you know what, folks? I think we need to get past all this. We need to stop assuming that digital natives are the only ones who understand, or that digital adopters can't understand. All right? Stop it. We just have to get past that, because if not, then we are ignoring tools that could provide such a wonderful complement to everything else you're already doing in business development and marketing. All right? All right. Well, let me know what you think about this. I know, slightly controversial to some of you, but not to others of you. All right? Well, that's it for today's Legal Marketing Minutes. Do me a favor. I really do want to know your thoughts about this topic. Tell me, are you a native or an adopter? And tell me if you hear this assumption, if you hear these assumptions or these stereotypes really every day, or if you have these thoughts. If you're in a place where you can leave a comment, please do that, as I'd love to hear from you. If not, you can always find me on my blog at myrlandmarketing.com, and that's MYRLAND marketing.com. And also, if you're connected to the legal profession, I invite you to join my Facebook group, where we discuss marketing, business development, content, social and digital media. And you can find that on Facebook by searching for Social Media for Lawyers and Legal Marketers with Nancy Myrland. When you do, let me know that this is how you found out about the group, okay, by listening to this. Well, thanks so much for spending a few legal marketing minutes with me, you digital natives and digital adopters, you. I know your time is valuable, so I appreciate you spending a few of them right here with me. Until next time, I'm Nancy Myrland. Take care.